Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, don't go too fast with the slides. I hope it will work. So to begin to present this international year, I choose to show a short video. No, it's not. Okay.
Curiosity about the world around us is what makes us human. This desire to make sense of the world is the driving force behind fundamental science. Stirred by this curiosity, each new generation of scientists adds to the pool of knowledge built up by previous generations. We are at a crucial time for the future of our planet. Now, more than ever, it is imperative to use this pool of knowledge to help solve the global problems we face and pave the way for a more sustainable development. And we must not stop being curious. Future generations will be inspired by the knowledge we contribute today, equipping them with the powerful tools they need to build a better world.
Pour les personnes qui seraient plus à l'aise avec le français, cette vidéo existe aussi en version francophone. Okay, so I come back to English because I think it's the most spoken and understood language. So I could stop here. You have everything about, almost everything about the international year, but I will elaborate a bit. Okay, so what is this international year about? So it's about basic sciences. So what are basic sciences? What do we mean by basic sciences? So curiosity-driven inquiry research where serendipity plays a role. It's long-term research, not driven by short-term applications. Very often, and most of the time, I would say, scientists practicing basic sciences have no application, no precise application in mind. Of course, they can have remote goals, remote hopes, but they know they have to understand the mechanism that are the core of phenomena. These basic sciences, they fill the pool of knowledge that future generations will perhaps, we never know, use to develop applications. What we know is that from experience from the past, is that if we don't develop basic sciences today, the future generation won't have the resources to take the challenges that will present to them and that we perhaps don't even imagine today. When scientists in the 19th century developed electromagnetism theory, most probably they didn't thought about laser, for instance. And so there are plenty of examples of the like. The basic sciences are also foundation for sciences, and as such, they serve education. And perhaps the last and very important point is that they are universal. The results are the same everywhere on the planet. The physics is the same, the biology is the same, the mathematics are the same. And so they facilitate open multicultural dialogue. And it's an important topic for today, peace. So why an international year devoted to basic sciences for sustainable development? Well, the first reason is that basic sciences are not always and everywhere considered as they deserve in the discussion concerning the societal, environmental, and economic development. Very often, when you speak about development, even sustainable development, you think about applications, about solutions. And people don't have, always see that all, as I said, all these applications, all these solutions. And as the representative of the European Commission said, you know, we had a COVID vaccine in a very short time because of the previous dozen of years of basic research previously. Also, and that's important, and the anthems we heard before, it reminds to us, curiosity-driven sciences, they re-enchant our world and make it worth to be sustainable. You know, knowing the marvel of nature, knowing the cosmos, knowing the mathematics, the abstractions, it's also important, and it's well, it's why do we try to live first of all? And an international year of basic sciences, of all basic sciences for sustainable development, builds on previous scientific international years we had in the past 20 years almost now, beginning with the International Year of Physics in 2005. And continuing with the International of Chemistry, Astronomy, etc. And here we have all the basic sciences together, all the sciences together. What are the main topics of this international year? So, enhancing inclusive participation in science. And when we mean inclusive of, at the world scale, all countries. And we know that in many places in the world, basic sciences are still underdeveloped, and it's important that basic sciences are made everywhere. Strengthening education and scientific training, financing basic sciences, and also generalize open science. Open science, we see it as a condition to generalize basic sciences all over the world. The governance of this international year. So we have a steering committee. Today we have 50 members in the steering committee. So part of these members are international scientific unions led by IUPAP. It happened like that, the International Union of Pure and Applied Physics. But we have almost all the fields of science represented, because we have biology, mathematics, astronomy, but also geography, geophysics, etc., etc. Pardon me for all my all those, I don't give the names. And we also have in the steering committee research organizations such as CERN, the European Laboratory for Particle Physics, but also CNRS in France, ITER, which is the big project for fusion, CISAMI, which is a synchrotron in Jordan. And also we have funding agencies such as the Fonds de Recherche du Québec. So they are not doing research themselves, but they are funding research, and that's very important. And we hope that this steering committee will increase with partners from other parts of the world where we are a bit weak. The agenda. So there are flagship events. So there has been an opening ceremony at UNESCO headquarters in Paris, 8th of July. And the closing ceremony at the end will be at CERN in Geneva, 6th October 2023. In the meantime, there have been already two important flagship events. One in Vietnam in mid-September, so about science, ethics, and human development. And also last week, the World Conference on Basic Sciences and Sustainable Development in Belgrade, Serbia. This conference has been organized, among others, by the World Academy of Arts and Sciences, and also by the Club of Rome. We envision some other events, so it's still under discussion with UNESCO, an African event in Kigali, Rwanda, most probably in March. It's still the date, the exact date is still discussed. The Academy of Sciences in Morocco, the Hassan Academy of Sciences and Technology in Morocco, will organize an event in February about basic sciences and technological breakthrough. Also, something that is under discussion, an open science conference about open science in Honduras. I can say most probably in June, but we'll see more in the near future. But these are flagship main events that we try to feature, but they're also already, and we're just at the beginning, already 125 events already registered in our schedule, and it's increasing. And I think I did this conference yesterday, so we should be at 126 now. So we have more or less, you see the proportion, 63 conferences, 32 public outreach activities, 20 webinars or series of webinars, and some series they have a lot of webinars during the year. Contests also, and especially for students or for pupils, and training sessions. And well, if you made the addition, and the mathematicians among you already did that, it's a bit over 125 because some events they qualify for different categories. So we encourage all the network of we have now over 120 supporters organization among the world, in addition to the 50 members of the steering committee I showed. So mainly there are science academy, national science academies, but also continental science academies and universities, a lot of organizations who are supporters of this international year and who are organizing, promoting these events. So it's important that everybody where they are, and like here, we have this event organized by the Academy of Sciences of Moldova, and that every organization where they are organize this kind of activities depending on their priorities of their, and depending also on what they already did in the past. Because of course, this international year, it builds on previous international years, but also on everything that is already done by so many people all over the world. And one main message is that this international year, we try to make known from different parts of the world what happens everywhere. And I'm very happy that this conference can be broadcast on YouTube, because it means that anybody, anywhere on the planet can watch it, perhaps live or in the next day, in the next month. So our scientists concerned with SDGs. So some topics, it's obvious, are directly related with SDGs. If you do research in biology, you're certainly not far from good health and well-being, from perhaps life below water, life on land. So, well, even though your research are very basic, you can show that there is a link. Okay. On the other way, some SDGs need new basic knowledge to be taken. For instance, the SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. We certainly, to provide clean water and sanitation everywhere on the globe, we need more knowledge in chemistry, in physics, most probably in biology, and I would say perhaps also in sociology, because to organize how it will be implemented. And also, the third point, science practice can help to progress toward SDGs. And that's something scientists are already working on. And perhaps they can be at the front line of these SDGs. So I can mention gender equality, reduced inequalities, and of course, peace, justice, and strong institutions. So some insight from recent conferences I mentioned. So sorry, I had to put it on 2 slides because it's. I wanted to take the words that have been given by the attendants of the conference. So these are not really conclusions, but statements that came out of these first conferences. So scientific knowledge, so from the Science, Ethics and Human Development in Quy Nhon, Vietnam, from 13 to 15 September. So scientific knowledge, technology and innovation shape our lives, our imagination, our hopes, our fears, but beyond it is a common universal heritage. Business as usual is no more an option. Every scientist, through his or her institution, especially when supported by public funds, must try to best connect to the society and should have in mind how his or her activity and findings could impact the world and might be of interest for contributing to make it better or not worse. It doesn't mean that every scientist should work into application, but it means that in their own activity, in your own activity, if you're a scientist, you should think about it. However, scientists must be given the necessary funding and freedom, the right to collaborate with other scientists across fields or across borders to conduct their research. Scientists must be listened to at all levels of decision-making so that they inspire the decision makers and the society at large. And of course, and the academicians here in this room know that very well, it is a balancing act to ensure societies trust their scientists and the knowledge they provide. And also some statements, and all these statements will be used to produce perhaps a final. I don't like to speak as final statements, but because the closing ceremony of the International Year will be the beginning of something else, of course. But the content of this International Year, all these statements can contribute to this. So the World Conference on Basic Sciences and Sustainable Development in Belgrade last week emphasizes sustainability sciences. So sustainability sciences, education of young people, which is multidisciplinary and integrative, should be implemented in addition to the standard STEM education. That is their proposal. Sustainability sciences must be multidisciplinary, integrative, collaborative, co-constructed, and open. Sustainability sciences could benefit for their organization from models used in big science and from the IPCC and IPBES model of interaction between scientists and decision makers. And lastly, circular economy fueled by decarbonated energy could be the application target of sustainability sciences, with a lot of innovations and new practices needed. So these are examples of statements that came out of some events, recent important events for the International Year. The steering committee and the International Advisory Committee of this International Year also waits for this kind of statement from events like this one to add up to the content of the International Year. And perhaps a decade of actions might be necessary to implement that. That's also something we may envision. And Ambassador Korosi, who's the current president of the United Nations General Assembly session, already spoke about a decade of action when he came at the opening ceremony of the International Year. So, well, you can follow the International Year on the website and also on social media account. So I thank you, all of you, for your attention.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for your very interesting presentation. I have a question. Can we disseminate the report by our website of the Academy? Because we can just upload on the website and it will be accessible for our community.
Yeah, we definitely we're aiming that this website is a platform for sharing what's happening in many different places in the world with people worldwide. That is very important. You know, there is, well, at a point, there is a steering committee, there is an international advisory committee where the academy here is a member, and these committees are steering, are running the international year, but we need the input from every organization that would like to give its input, because you know, we have 17 SDGs. So nobody, no place, no country, no academy can take all these 17 SDGs and say, okay, we will work on all the 17. And there are priorities. In some places, I mentioned clean water and sanitation is very urgent. They have to work on this, and they want to develop specifically research related in somehow with this. So that's just an example. In other places, it's peace. In other places, it can be energy. And of course, can be several at once. But so it's important to have the input and the priorities and the experience of every organization on the planet. And happily, especially the science academies, they didn't wait for an international year to begin to work on linking basic sciences and sustainable development. So we need definitely, the international year is an opportunity to make this input known in a wider way.
And to give an impetus to all activities.
We hope so.
Yeah, thank you so much. There are no other